covering all our bases, that's my
Exactly.
question.
Thank you, sir. I was just about to ask, is this the appropriate course and everything having been touched on? So, what's the board's pleasure?
I think we should draft up the agreement and have our council double check it, and if they don't find anything that says we shouldn't do it, then we should sign it.
Is that a motion?
Sure.
I second it.
All in favor?
I did put my hand
Does that mean you're not in favor?
up. No, I just thought I'd be pushing it. Thank you all very much.
You're welcome.
We'll get together and tell them we'll draft up an agreement, and then I'll send it down, just have the attorney look at it, and we'll send down a
Yeah,
map.
would you tell him that the guy gets foreclosed on the 18th?
I will.
We're rushing it. We paid our money, they should be able to tell them.
Thank you very much, though. I appreciate the help.
You're welcome. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Oh, and this one was Andrew Mahoney.
Yes, that's right.
Alright.
Andrew
Mahoney.
Yeah, I'll hang around and
All right.
All right. Thank
You
you.
see the land bill?
No, he's a server.
He's a survey.
Yeah.
Interesting, maybe we
Yeah,
maybe just willing to bid on some of our brothers.
That's right. At least leave the card.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm assuming there'll be no, yeah. I don't think there'll be any.
Okay, so
Do we know them?
Number 3 on the agenda.
This is the agreement with the Lubec Historical Society. Barb, you want to come up and join us?
Of course she does.
The agreement that we have was one that was drawn up by our attorney, Mary Costigan, and it just lists some basic, an outline for how the property is going to transfer to the town of Lubec. So we can go through the brownfield application, clean the property up, clean up the old Columbian factory, clean up the site that the Historical Society currently sits on, and then return it back to the Historical Society. Now, we're still going to have to go through the town meeting and get the approval of the voters. But I mean, this communication between the Selectmen and the Historical Society. What I did was, Barb came in, Mike came in, and we sat down, and there were some areas of question, and there were some areas that possibly there could be some changes made. So what I did was I put the proposed changes in red, and as you can see, they're very minor. The big question is number 10. In the event that the Lubec Historical Society ceases to exist or decides to convey the property to a third party, the town shall have the right of first refusal to purchase the property for $1. What I did was I took the deed, and according to the deed, if the Historical Society ceases to exist, it has to go to another not-for-profit with a background in historical preservation or environmental. So I took that information, I sent that down to MMA, and I asked them if the municipality would qualify. I have not heard back from them yet, but I do believe that we will qualify.
I think so, because
What Barb would like to have is confirmation from MMA that we do qualify, and then that makes it easier for her to go with that part of the agreement, that she can tag it to the deed and say, yes, this I was dotted, this T was crossed.
right.
Yep.
And if we don't, then I think we ought to stop and really do some evaluation on the things at hand, because there's a lot of non-profit outfits out there that could step in and tie into something that.
Well, the other option would be, if it ceases to exist, maybe we could dictate a not-for-profit with a background in historical, that would fit the contents of the deed, that would be agreeable
That
to
would
the
be
Historical
good.
Society.
Yeah, what-
okay, if we had to develop
I mean,
something on that
that's
line,
an
that.
Yeah,
Having it, right.
Yeah, okay.
But
From what John
ultimately-
is telling me now, though, you are a not-for-profit.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify it. I hope the
They'll
Historical
get it
Society
right.
never goes
Yeah.
away. I hope it's
Oh,
here for
right.
another
Right.
200 years, as long as
Yeah.
the town, wants it to be. But I don't want to find out that if it does come to be in 175 years, the town goes to take it
Right.
over, and somebody says, well, wait a minute, we've researched, so it's covering the town,
right.
that we would be willing to turn it over back to the town for their right to help us to get that building down,
Mhm.
and it covers the Historical Society at the
Yeah,
same time.
most certainly.
Lubec's history is ongoing.
Yeah,
Oh, I know.
Right.
oh yeah, I got the, I got a can opener.
Sure, I have
Tobacco
this.
can with-
Why did we switch to read to a seasonal turnout?
Because,
Number
Wouldn't it be a turnout regardless of the season?
But
yeah, but it wouldn't be
There wouldn't be-
plowed in the winter time to provide,
But nothing in this says it has to be plowed.
well, do we want to saddle any organization with having to pay for snow removal on something that they can't afford to? And there's nothing that says they have to
But there's
plow
nothing
it.
in this, if this didn't say seasonal, that would require them to plow it.
Well, what would you suggest it be
Just
changed
leave
to?
it to turnout.
I guess, Justin, because the Historical Society is only open for 3 seasons, the one season we felt nobody's there, we don't have to worry about if anybody's pulling into the turnout area or anything. Truthfully, if it stays a flat dirt and not paved, the town, if we have snowstorms like we're having right now, could dump the dirt right there onto that. So, I mean, the snow, thank you, yes, right there. And it also comes to the fact of having people park there all day and all night long. We'll end up policing.
Right.
So
You have to
this
do
way,
that even if it was during the summer months.
in the summer months, with everybody passing and talking to some of the people, you know, we're going to post no trespassing signs or whatever. You can say, you know, you're trespassing. But during the winter months, if we can, I don't want to say block it off, but if you go down towards Shrewdick Peninsula, you see some of them, they're open, but they're not plowed, okay? But they're a lot bigger than, and I don't know how big this is going to be because we haven't had a drawing done yet. So
Right.
I felt that was the only request I made, is that it be seasonal. To take care of the property, we have to maintain that land with plants or flowers or trees or bushes or whatever so that it doesn't erode this way. If somebody has an issue and it goes off the road, we don't have to worry about how far they went in or whatever, because the snow would be there.
I'm with Justin, I don't think we need to include seasonal, and I'm not for blocking it with a barricade. I mean, if it snows,
No, it wouldn't be
We
plowed.
know
The
it's not
barricade
plowed,
just
not
wouldn't be plowed.
maintained, they just,
Right.
if someone wants to put on snowshoes and cut across it, then technically they'd still be allowed to. If it was seasonal, then the deed would
Then
semi
the other
permit
thing
that.
would be, that road would be open for anybody that wanted to get out there, crinkles or whatever, and,
Right. If someone wants to
the
truck
beaches,
through the
or-
snow, and
you know,
It's my understanding from the DEP that it was not going all the way down to the
No, the turnout isn't, but
right.
there'll be
There
shore
isn't.
access, I thought.
there's gonna be
There's-
access down to where the demolition and everything's gonna take place, and there'll be a big,
well,
So there's not gonna
actually,
be a walking access to the shore? I thought that was the whole point.
well,
Yeah, but you gotta remember, this is while it's during the construction period, so
Right.
you're not gonna have people down there doing this
Right.
either. This isn't for ever with this, this is,
Well,
you
we
turn it
own
over
it.
to the town so that when they're doing it, and he already said that they're gonna be fencing it off anyways.
right. They need to fence it off during the time that the construction work is done. That's just the process. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I need to state something right now, before I forget, and that is, the whole reason why this is being looked at, ladies and gentlemen, is because it's a dangerous structure. And the other day I noticed 3 people standing down there, and they were outside the concrete building, but in the last year alone, that concrete building has started to collapse. It is extremely dangerous. Please keep out of that area.
true.
All right, continue.
So there's gonna be just
Yes, I understand your point. This agreement's only gonna be in effect during the construction.
So is there any other sticking point?
Actually, this will be even farther than after, because once it conveys back to them, we'll
It's
still
their
have
property.
property and rights to it
Still
by
gonna
this
be-
agreement. By option 10, is so this wouldn't cease to exist after just the,
Yeah, and I mean, also by number 8, when the property is transferred, the seasonal turnout and the public access to the turnout is still gonna be with it, is still gonna be there. So I mean, the public is gonna benefit.
Barbara, do you have any comments about this?
No, again, as all of you are saying, this is conditions while it's in your hands.
but some of these conditions last the lifetime of the property by the agreement.
Can you elaborate, please?
Number 10,
Well,
guys
that,
never decided.
that is an agreement that we're
Right.
saying we are in agreement with,
right,
provided that
which would
you
be
are
for the length of
a
the
not non-for-profit, yeah.
Right, so parts of this agreement will be in effect even after it's transferred back to the historical society.
Provided that the historical society cease to exist.
But number 7, upon completion of the full remediation of the